The following day, Peter, Michael, and Uncle George go fishing. Peter's mother, aunt, and James go shopping. They browse aisles and aisles of dresses in the boys' department, and James tries so many on he gets dizzy. Aunt Jo points out a number of styles that would be perfect for Peter, but his mother thinks it should be his decision. She tells Helen that she just went out and bought their first dresses and made damn sure that they wore them. Both were dead against them at first. Jo explains, glancing at her son, James, clearly loves them now, and Michael reluctantly accepts them. If I tell him to wear a dress, he'll wear one, she adds. He probably won't like it, but… Oh Jo, that's a bit mean, don't you think? Helen says to her sister-in-law. I don't think so. Was it mean when our mothers insisted we wore a pretty dress on a particular occasion? Jo asked. I mean, she added, cocking her head, the old, because we're girls argument doesn't wash anymore. I know you're right. Helen replied. Her eyes flicked across rows and rows of dresses. I'd have to fight him into any of these, she said, removing one and admiring it. And if it does turn out to be a passing fad, I'd worry that he'd hate me forever, she said, replacing the dress. I think it's best to leave it up to him and see how things pan out. Believe me, this isn't a passing fad, her sister-in-law replied. It's been going on for years, but it's only in the last year or two that it's gained mainstream exposure. Meanwhile, on the fishing trip, Michael has gone to the toilet, leaving Peter and his uncle alone. His uncle says your aunt is quite surprised that your mother hasn't bought you a dress yet. Peter asks his uncle if he thinks all boys will be in dresses eventually, as Aunt Jo claimed the previous day. 10 years ago, I'd have loved to have been a boy again. Uncle George reminisces, but these days, I don't envy you, he reluctantly admits. My honest answer is yes. If I thought for one moment it was just a passing fad, I'd never have let your aunt put my boys in dresses. But times are a changing, lad, and they don't look so bad in them, he adds. You'll get used to it. It just seems so unfair. I mean, it's okay for James because he likes them, but Mike doesn't and he still has to wear them sometimes. Peter says. Well, from time to time we all have to wear something we don't like. Uncle George glances down the track to make sure Michael isn't in earshot. There's no sign, so he turns back to his nephew and says, but Michael likes some more than others. Uncle George says, I expect you'll get your turn soon enough, lad, and it won't be as bad as you think. I hope not. Peter replies.